Hey, Phil here from Queen and Honey. I just want to go through today how to requeen a hive. Generally, there'll be two scenarios where you need to requeen a hive. The first one being that you've come to the hive, you've inspected it, you can't find brood, you can't find eggs, and you can't find a queen present. So that's the first scenario. And the second scenario is you've inspected the hive and you know that the queen is particularly cranky, or you're not happy with the performance of the new queen, so you want to requeen the hive to make it more productive or calm the bees down. So the first scenario, where you've just come to the hive and it is queenless, it's a pretty simple task because the bees have been without a queen for some time. They'll be ready to accept a new queen generally most of the time. So it's pretty much a case of just putting the queen cage into the hive with the candy down. They'll chew her out in a day or two, and you can come back and check in a fortnight's time, make sure she's laying. The second scenario, where you want to requeen, so it's got an active laying queen, but you want to change her out for something different, there's a little bit more work involved. What you have to go into the hive and find the old queen and kill her. There's no point at all putting a new queen into a hive with an existing queen. They'll just kill her straight away. So once you've done that, once you've gone in and found the queen and killed her, I like to leave it at least 24 hours. You can go out to 7 days, but 24 hours generally they will accept a new queen. But I want to show you what I usually do to make sure that they are going to accept her. Is I'll put this on top of the frames and see how the bees react. If they are acting really aggressive towards her, what I'll do is, if it's only been 24 hours, I might take her back out, and if she's got escorts, is leave it for another 24 hours and then do it again and see how they act again. It does get to a point where you just have to introduce her. And another way to do it is with the candy, is to block that entrance with like something metal or a nail with a flat tip on it or something. Block it so the bees actually can't get to the candy, and put the queen in, so they have to get used to her pheromone. So that's the idea of it. The longer you leave it there, I was going to say, you need to, if you leave it for probably more than 2 or 3 days, it's a good idea to go through those brood frames again, to see if make sure they're not starting to produce a new queen cell, because you want to get rid of that before you try to introduce her, just to alleviate any problems that may cause. So the requeening is really quite easy. What I'll do now, I'll just put my veil on and we'll open this hive up, and I'll show you the way that I like to see the bees respond when you put the cage on. It gives you more confidence, and it shows that the bees are readily going to accept her. So I'll just put my veil on and we'll have a quick look. So I won't smoke them at this stage, simply because I want them to smell the queen, the pheromone, and make sure they get used to it. So I'm not sure if you can see from there, but it is generally a fairly populated hive. I'll bring in and have a quick look. So it looks pretty good, and what we'll do is sit the queen on top and just see how the bees respond to her. Hopefully you can see that okay. And they should just bunch around her. See how they're not acting aggressive. They're not putting the abdomen inside the cage trying to sting her at all. And that's exactly what you want. So I know that this hive has probably been queenless for at least 7 days. So I'm pretty confident that they will accept her no problem at all. So what I'll do now is just go ahead and put it between the frames. And close the lid. Now I like to leave that at least for probably 2 weeks now, and I'll come back and check to see if she's laying and make sure that everything's gone smooth. I don't like to check it before then, just in case. Sometimes, particularly if you've requeened a cranky hive, what can happen is when you open the lid, they get a stress response, and what they'll do is ball and kill the queen. And because she is only still fairly new to that colony, that can happen. So that's why I like to leave it out for 2 weeks, come back, make sure she's laying, there's eggs. You don't necessarily have to spot the queen. If you want to, it's a good idea to spot her, but it's not necessary. If there's eggs in the hive, you know that she's laying and accepted. So that's how you requeen a hive.